This is Mongolian Mindset, and today we're going to be responding to one of our subscribers' comments. Can you please type Bernie Sanders by Daniel Ryder? Okay, so we're going to type Bernie Sanders for you today, but before we get into that, we still are doing free typing sessions. All you have to do is join our Facebook group and message our moderator, Cody, with your availability, and we'll get that done via Zoom. One of our goals is to have the most accurate MBTI group. So in the future, we can ask questions and poll each other and find out great information on how we can, potentially with relationships, friends, co-workers, that type of thing. So yeah, join our group and let's get that done. Trying to get to at least 300 members this year. That's one of the goals for me. I think we had like 260. I want to say 260. But yeah, let's get into this. So, personality database, our sworn enemy, has Bernie Sanders as an intj. Okay, we're going to stop the shit right here. Okay, this is where we're going to stop the shit. I don't even have to click on a fucking video, and I can tell you that this man's affiliative as hell. And INTJs are some of the most pragmatic people. They are some of the most pragmatic types of all the types. Like, it's hard to get an INTJ to do anything. They have FE Trickster, so it's all right, man. All right. So they have him as INTJ. That's pretty funny. And you guys know we use Linda Barrens metrics to type people, interaction styles and temperaments with some cognitive functions, and we'll narrow it down just like a multiplication table to triangulate down to his type. So they have him as INTJ. That's NI in the first spot, TE in the second spot, FE in the FI in the third spot, SE in the fourth spot, and then opposing, that would be NE, and the critic, that would be TI. INTJs will TI critic the hell out of you. In the seventh spot, the blind spot would be FE. Like I said, they do not care about social norms. It's almost like a blind spot to them. So yeah, good luck with that. And they have SI in the eighth spot, which is the demonic, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, let's get into it. But like I said, I already know the guy's affiliative. I've been to one of his rallies.
Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, who is out with a new book, It's Okay to Be Angry About Capitalism. Good morning, Senator.
Okay, so 50% of our viewers are not subscribed, so if you guys could please subscribe, that'd be amazing. And comment below a celebrity you want to type. I'll probably take a celebrity from this video to type next. So let's get into it.
To have you here in person.
Thank you.
We have a lot to get through, but I want to talk about one of the things you flesh out in the book. You talk about the alliance you formed with Joe Biden during the campaign to really shape the Democratic platform and incorporate many of your ideas. You said he was.
Sounds like he's inclusion already. That sounds like inclusion. Affiliative.
Wasn't as bold as you would have hoped, but he would have been the most progressive president since FDR if he had acted on that agenda. How do you categorize Joe Biden on that progressive scale now?
Well, I think the American Rescue Plan that we passed early in his agenda, in the midst of the terrible pandemic, the economic collapse, was in fact one of the most significant pieces of legislation for the working class of this country in the modern history of America.
Okay, so that was just an outcome. That was just an outcome right there. Okay, he's just talking about the end product of it, not going through the progression. That's the outcome.
Build Back Better would have been transformational. It would have finally addressed the crises that the working class of this country has faced for decades, revolutionized childcare, revolutionized healthcare, dealt boldly with climate change, raised wages. I mean, it would have done a whole lot.
But the votes weren't there.
We got 0 Republican support, and 2 Democrats decided not to support it.
So,
see what I'm saying? He's just talking about the end product. Like right there alone, I could have had 5 points for outcome. He could have been already eliminated as an outcome type.
In terms of how you view the president, do you think he is progressive?
I think he is a much more progressive president than he was a United States senator. And I think as a result of the campaign and the task forces we did together, you recall we had task forces between his campaign and my campaign. I think we came up with an agenda that was progressive. Obviously, we were not able to get everything we wanted to get done.
In some of the things you were able to get done and signed into law, President Biden points to them as achievements, but you diminish them a little bit in this book. You point out Medicare won't be permitted to negotiate lower drug prices until 2026. Right. The cap on out-of-pocket prescription drug costs for seniors doesn't kick in until 2025. $35 cap on insulin prices doesn't help those who aren't on Medicare. Are you saying he hasn't delivered?
No. I mean, look, this is the real world that we live in, is that you need 60 votes often in the Senate. And Democrats had a slim majority in the House. But what I am talking about, Mark, and what the book is about, is taking a hard look at the reality facing working families in this country. And the truth is that today, over 60% of our people are living paycheck to paycheck.
Outcome. All right, he's outcome. Okay, so him being outcome, he can only be a direct type. Structure type, which would be ESTJ, ESTP, ENTJ, ENFJ, ISFJ, ISFP, INTP, and infp. Okay, so those are the 8 types that he can be. We eliminate all of the progression types because he's just spitting end product. That's all he cares about, end product. Okay, we're gonna keep going, but I mean, it's safe to say that Bernie Sanders is affiliative. So if that would be the case, we'd be looking at ESTJ, ISFJ, ENFJ, or INFP.
So the question that I am asking is, why in the richest country in the history of the world, why aren't...
That's affiliative. Why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we getting along? Why aren't we doing what's right? Affiliative.
Why don't we have a healthcare system that works for all, where people can walk into the doctor's office?
Let's do what's right. Let's do what's right.
As they do in Canada, without having to take out their wallet. Why do we spend twice as much per capita on healthcare? Why do we pay the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs? So we have seen some achievements.
Let's do what's right and get these outcomes. Let's do what's right.
In the scope of the problems and where we should be going, nowhere near enough.
We also have one of the most innovative healthcare systems when it comes to creation of pharmaceutical drugs. You are doing this. No. So when someone hears you lay out the problems with our pharmaceutical industry, as you do in this book, it's say, but the life-saving vaccines, for example, for COVID, they were created by the United States of America. They were created by the pharmaceutical system with taxpayer help.
Sure. Of course the drug companies produce great drugs. But 1 out of 4 people in America cannot afford the drugs that their doctors prescribe.
So he's TEFI too. He's been statistics and stuff. TEFI, affiliative. Let's go.
You tell me why we pay 10 times more for some drugs that are sold in the United States compared, say, to Canada or to other countries.
Outcome, TEFI. Outcome, TEFI. Okay, so we already know this guy's affiliative. I'm not even going to play the game. So ESTP is eliminated, ENTJ is eliminated, ISFP is eliminated, INTP is eliminated because they're pragmatic, which means they tend to be somewhat rebellious, contrarians. They like freedom. They don't like you to sign jobs. He's trying to get everybody to get along. Okay, he's trying to do what's right. So with that said, those types are eliminated. We got 2 points for TEFI already. So it's looking like he is going to be down to an ESTJ and INFP. Just to see that. That's going to be interesting.
Year after year, the pharmaceutical industry makes tens of billions of dollars in profits, pays their CEOs exorbitant salaries.
TFI
so of course
outcomes.
We want the drug companies to do the research and development. And by the way, taxpayers in this country spend $45 billion a year through the NIH to help with that research and development, including Moderna and the vaccine.
Okay, so what I'm noticing right now is he's not directing the conversation. He's just giving information and allowing people to come up with their own decision. So what that will go under is the umbrella of an informative. But we're going to keep going because he seems a little aggressive here.
Moderna, Pfizer didn't take that money, but Moderna, you're sharply critical. In fact, you're chair of the Senate's Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee, and next month you're calling in Moderna's CEO to testify. You're critical of his plan to quadruple the cost of the COVID vaccine. Well, can you stop him from doing that?
Well, here's the story. Taxpayers, the NIH co-authored, worked together to create the vaccine.
Right.
Taxpayers put billions of dollars into the development of the vaccine. guaranteed sales for the vaccine.
As they did with many other companies.
You see that outcome.
All right. And then what happens after the government stockpile of the vaccine expires? These guys say, well, we're going to quadruple the price of the vaccine. And by the way,
you're not doing what's right. Affiliative.
In the last 2 years, the CEO made $5 billion and his other guys made billions of dollars. Is that really what should be happening? Truth
is that really what should be happening? Affiliative again.
Pharmaceutical industry is enormously greedy, charging us outrageously, uncontrollably high.
Okay, so he's putting tags on people. Greedy.
Prices. We have got to deal with that. As chairman of the relevant committee, I intend to do what I can.
Moderna says it's instituting
some type of FI calling, quiet crusader. Okay.
Patient assistance plan to give the COVID shot to the uninsured and underinsured Americans free of cost. Is that sufficient?
And you know, Margaret,
for you?
Amazing coincidence. That happened the same exact day as we announced that we were inviting them to testify.
You think your political heat made that difference?
Well, maybe it was just the
coincidence. That's SINE.
Wild and crazy coincidence. I don't know. But we also want to take a look at what that patient program is about. We're talking to them about that. But obviously, it's a step in the right direction.
Step in the right direction. How do you lower the cost of prescription drugs in a way that doesn't hurt American innovation? And how do you do it politically when Republicans control the House?
You know, I saw a poll that was done just for Republicans.
I saw a poll, TEFI. I saw a poll. That's SI. I saw.
Republicans. And you know what Republicans regarded as the major priority they were concerned of? High cost of prescription drugs. Mm-hmm. All right. So I think we have the basis for bipartisan work to tell the pharmaceutical.
I think we have a basis for bipartisan work. Let's get together. Let's do what's right. Let's be affiliative.
That they really have got to stop ripping off the American people. A number of ways you could do it. The Inflation Reduction Act started by having Medicare negotiate prices with the pharmaceutical industry. Doesn't kick in for a few years. Yep. I think we should expedite that. Number two, of all people, my good friend Donald Trump, all right, who I disagree with on everything.
I disagree with on everything. There you
go. Yeah, that maybe Medicare should not pay prices higher than the average of what countries around the rest of the world.
He's referencing Donald Trump here, so that's TE.
That's a good idea. We want to pursue that.
He's referencing Trump's idea for that.
And there's the concept of reimportation, that if Americans can buy drugs in Canada or in Europe at a fraction of the price, let's have pharmacists and distributors be able to purchase those drugs and sell them at much lower cost in the United States.
This involves state subsidies of some form. Government subsidies.
No, that does not involve subsidies. Okay. That simply says if you can buy a drug in Canada, same drug for 1/10 of the price, passes FDA specifications, it should be sold in this country at a lower price.
It should be sold.
And you think you can do this with
in this conference? Let's do the right thing. It should be sold in this conference. So we're gonna go ahead and kill all the TI types that are left, and the so we're gonna be down to ESTJ and INFP. Okay, so the difference between ESTJ and INFP, INFPs are abstract. They're also interests, so they look at the global interest, and it seems as though Bernie Sanders is really about the global interest, to be honest with you. He's talking about what's best for everyone from a global perspective. He's not really talking about systems. And he's coming off informative. If he was directing the conversation and he seems to be coming off responding, he's not really changing the conversation anything. So it's looking like this man's INFP, and that would kind of go with his look. I mean, like SE Trickster, you can usually spot on like a lot of people. Like if you're used to spotting like an INFP or an INTP, they have really poor like fashion design. A lot of them.
Republicans in control of the House. Do you think the votes are there?
I think there's a lot of support for dealing with the high cost of prescription drugs. Yes, I do.
I want to ask you about what's politically possible in that makeup of Congress right now. Democrats have this narrow 51-seat majority in the Senate. You're an independent, but you caucus with the Democrats. Both of Pennsylvania's senators are out of office right now dealing with serious health issues. And so their absence complicates any votes. Do you have any idea when, for example, Senator Fetterman will be out of the hospital and well enough to return?
We wish Senator Fetterman has gone through a hell of a year. I mean, with his stroke in the middle of a campaign and dealing with other issues. So I can't answer that. I think Bob Keirsey, who is dealing with prostate cancer, will be back, as I understand it, in early March.
This is a big what if. I mean, this is a very key state, Pennsylvania,
Sure.
for Democrats. I mean, are you concerned?
Well, obviously, we're concerned, about the health of all of our members, and we hope that they are all back. Bob, I think, will be back. We know that. John, I just don't have that information.
Because Pennsylvania, in so many ways, also is an example of a lot of what you talk about in terms of the working class, mixing with, the concerns you have there. Are you concerned that state is, if there has to be a special election, for example, or if Keirsey doesn't run, that it goes to the Republicans?
Bob will be back in a few weeks.
Okay.
But so let's not speculate on it. But, like Pennsylvania, like Vermont, like other countries, like other states in our country, the people in those states are hurting. And the question of the book, again, is
the people
how come
what's called are hurting. That's FE.
we have so many people who are struggling. We have a dysfunctional healthcare system. Our child care system is in disarray. We got millions of elderly people who have nothing in the bank as they face retirement, and yet the people on top are doing phenomenally well. And Margaret, what the book is about is saying that we have more income and wealth inequality today than we've ever had. We have more concentration of ownership in sector after sector than we have ever had. We have a political system which is increasingly corrupt, because as a result of Citizens United, billionaires can put enormous amounts of money into it to elect their candidates. And we have, 8 major media conglomerates, corporate media conglomerates, that control about what 90% of the American people see, hear, and read. Those are really issues that we need to discuss. That's what the book does.
Do you worry when you talk about the corporate media
He
that
gave
you
us a
are
whole
targeting?
bunch of information. There. And he's not really forcing your mind on anything. He's just giving you information. This guy's informative and he's global interest. He wants to do what's the interest for everybody. So, with that being said, this guy's an INFP. Bernie Sanders is an INFP. So, that's interesting that Personality Database had him as an INTJ. INTJs are very pragmatic. Like, good luck trying to get an INTJ to do what's. I mean, they have FI child, but at the same time they love their freedom. Like, they really love their freedom, and they don't want you to take it away from them. They're some of the most pragmatic people. If you're dealing with INTJ, good luck with the FE trickster. Probably the same thing with the ENTJ. Good luck with the FE demon. Okay, so right here, we got him as INFP. It's been a pleasure. Thank you again, Melissa, for the chart. But this is Mongolian Mindset, and we're out.